Wrestling is trash.
Boom. Hello, my friends, my beautiful, beautiful Trashians. Welcome to episode 158 of Wrestling is Trash, Future Endeavors. So, as you can see, I am all by myself today. Mr. Nicholas, I am happy to announce, is back in the good old U.S. of motherfucking A. That man is home, and he's happy to be home. And Mrs. Anicelli is very happy that he's home. So, they are enjoying time together, getting caught up back up. You guys know the deal, as I am sure you would all want to be reunited with your loved ones if you were away from them for a long period of time. So I thought, why not drop a solo Luqua episode of Wrestling is Trash? Because there's a lot of shit going on, and I kind of felt like I wanted to touch on a couple of these things. Now, I will tell you, if you are a fan of Nick, I will not waste too much of your time. So this episode actually was supposed to be recorded on Tuesday. As usual, we record on Trash Tuesdays. But I got a little caught up yesterday, and I did not have time to record. And I wanted to watch NXT because Becky Lynch was on, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But I was not able to record it yesterday, so I apologize to those of you who are actually waiting for your Tuesday Trash. My bad. I could have gotten that out yesterday. I just did not have the time. So I wanted to make sure today to put something out for y'all. And here I am. That is the long and short of that. So once again, before we start this, just thank you to all of you who continue to tune in. This light is like right in my fucking eye. Like I really try to, I've been having a love-hate. See, that's good. I think that's a good, like, I've been having this love-hate relationship with this ring light, this thing, this. See that? See how bright that is? That's shit in your eye for an hour and a half when you're trying to record a podcast. So I've been trying to find the perfect place to put that, and I can't really seem to find it. So I'm going to go with this for now and see how that goes. But anyway, in any event, we are here on Trash Wednesday, not Trash Tuesday, to talk about some wrestling related topics and some things and some stuff. I say we, but it's just me and you. It's just us. We're just here, and we're just going to talk about wrestling for as long as it takes for me to be done with these topics, and then I'll skedaddle on out of here because it is Wednesday. You know what that means. AW Dynamite is on. So the big news that's going on right now is, did I say thank you? I'm pretty sure I got interrupted by myself saying thank you to all of you who I love very dearly. Thank you all so much for the views on YouTube. You guys are killing it on the YouTube views. It's kind of funny to look at some of our old videos that have like 6 views or 12 views, and now we'll go and we're in the 200-300 views in some of these videos, and it's like, you guys are amazing. So thank you so much for that. Again, make yourselves known in the chat, man. We will happily shout you out. We will happily have you on this show to talk about all things professional wrestling, past, present, and future. And please, mikasa is ukasa. So whenever you guys want to pop on, let's get that done. So the big news that we are currently dealing with right now, which was yesterday, the WWE and Endeavor deal is officially done. The two companies have merged into a new conglomerate called TKO. So what does this mean? This means that the WWE, for the first time in its existence, is no longer owned by a McMahon. Vince McMahon is no longer owner of WWE. Vince McMahon is I believe he is an executive chairman now, and supposedly is involved with creative along with Triple H and Nick Khan, for that matter. Those are the 3 guys who are basically right now running WWE, while Endeavor, they've merged, but I'm sure that there's going to be some fine tuning and some things that are going to happen. Like today, one of Vince McMahon's I don't want to say right hand, but one of his hands was released today. And I apologize. I don't have his name because all my notes are from yesterday. So I'm trying to remember things that happened today, but I did not take any notes. So there's already some dominoes starting to fall where they're going to start getting rid of some people. And that's going to happen. I mean, when you have two big companies like that, you're going to have people who are, you know, they're doing the same things in different companies. And now the companies are one. So we don't need both of you. One of you got to go. So you're going to be seeing a lot of dominoes like that start to fall. And, you know, it's kind of, I mean, I have like different feelings on it because on the one hand, and, you know, it's the end of an era, like Vince McMahon, synonymous with WWE, WWF. I mean, that name it is WWE. He is the WWE. So for him to no longer be owner of the company is it's kind of mind-boggling when you think about it. We never thought, you know, we always thought that what was going to happen was Vince McMahon was going to die in that office, and, you know, whoever he leaves it to in his will or whatever it is would get the company. And you know, whether it's Shane or Stephanie or, you know, Hunter, whoever. And now it's like they sold it, you know, for quite the hefty sum. And I mean, great for them. It's the ultimate bag was acquired. And again, we've talked about that on this show a million times. It's like, dude, when you have that much money, like, wouldn't you just shuffle off into obscurity, into just take your money and go enjoy it? Like, I don't, I don't know, man. I guess that's why I'm not a CEO, a businessman type, because I don't understand. I always said, like, when I was younger, like, if I was talented enough to be like in the NFL or the NBA or something, I'd sign my deal, bro, work my body until like I couldn't work it anymore, and then cut and run with my money and go live a happy, quiet life. Because I don't get this making $1 billion and then still having to go to the New York Stock Exchange to make an appearance and still be trying to deal with this business every day, going there at 75, 76 years old, however fucking old he is, to go there and continue to keep dealing with the bullshit and all that. And I was like, nah, bro, I am retired. I am going to go somewhere. I'm going to get a compound. I'm going to have freaking white glove service, and I'm going to go on vacations and move and do things. And it's like, I don't know. That's just me. I don't know. Maybe, you know, again, from what I understand, Vince McMahon sleeps like 4 or 5 hours a night. He gets up like at 6 in the morning. He's in the gym. Like, it's a creature of habit. It's a successful man, you know. It's worked for him all this time. So I'm gonna assume he's just gonna continue in that. But it's gonna be very interesting, man, because I just, you know, I feel like we're gonna start seeing things little by little change. Things are not gonna change overnight, you know. And I don't think WWE is gonna be too different than what it is now. But one of my predictions is I think we're gonna start seeing like branding, like a lot more branding. Like, we're gonna start seeing like people wearing you know, you're gonna see a little badge for like what's something that UFC is what's that shit, that C4 shit that Logan Paul has. You're gonna start seeing little C4 ads and patches and shit on people's outfits. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. We've already got the goddamn Rey Mysterio is already the world cinnamon toast crunch champion. Every every pay-per-view match that he has is like sponsored by Cinnamon Toast Crunch. There's Cinnamon Toast Crunches fighting on the Titantron. They got Cinnamon Toast Crunch things dancing across the side of the fucking ring and the projector. Like, I was like, why Rey Mysterio? Why is it always his matches? Why is he the Cinnamon Toast Crunch champion? I don't understand that shit. But we're gonna start seeing a lot more, like a lot more things like that. So one of the things that I saw online was oh, I think that was thunder. It's about to start pouring, I guess, huh? Let's take a look at that. Oh, yeah. It's getting cloudy out there. Good thing I went in the pool earlier. So one of the things I saw yesterday was, I believe it was Dana White or someone or another spokesperson for the UFC side was saying that what they want is for UFC fans to become now WWE fans and WWE fans to now become UFC fans. And I don't think that's going to work. Now, I know that there's a large subset of people kind of like me who enjoy both and understand both, but I don't think people who like strictly watch Ultimate Fighting are going to transition over to wrestling. I think you'd have more people who watch wrestling probably transition over to Ultimate Fighting to watch that kind of thing because, it's, again, I hate to use the real word, but, if they're going to advertise stuff, if they're going to advertise pay-per-views and shows and stuff like that on WWE programming, you're going to see people actually punching each other in the face and grounding, pounding. And if you're not used to watching that, after seeing it a few times, you're going to be like, yeah, I kind of want to watch that shit. And I mean, I guess the same could be said about, the reverse, UFC fans seeing WWE programming on their screen. But again, I think there's that stigma of that shit's fake. And, these people who are like UFC martial art purists, they probably look at wrestling as a joke. It's this, it's that. They, again, it has that bad stigma attached to it that it's carny shit. So I would think that it would be easier to get WWE fans to kind of transfer over to UFC. Either way, they're gonna win. They spent a shitload of money to make this merger, and they're gonna make a lot more. So as far as changes go, a lot of people are predicting things still going to start happening immediately. I don't think that's going to happen. Again, I think we're going to start seeing things little by little change over, and we'll start seeing them in little promotional things, and then from there we'll start seeing crossover and stuff like that. But I think pretty much, at least for the next couple of years, WWE is pretty much going to be WWE. It's you know I think it's just going to be what it is with little tweaks and stuff added to it. So Nick Khan yesterday was doing the Whirlwind Media Tour, and of course, he was on ESPN, and he was asked about a one Phil Brooks, aka CM Punk. And this was Nick Khan's statement as far as that goes. He said, "Listen, we only have respect for Phil. We appreciate his run here. We appreciate what he did and what he tried to do in the UFC. Not many people can actually get in there and do what he did. So when we have..." Oh, that's what it says. I read it fucked up, but it's written fucked up. "So when we have respect for Phil, we wish him nothing but the best." Again, when I read this, to me, it sounded like, best of luck to you, CM Punk, in your future endeavors. That's what it sounded like to me. That sounded like a fuck you, CM Punk. We don't want business with that guy. Again, I could be misconstruing that, but this basically just sounded to me like, hey, he did great things here. We appreciate that. We have respect for him. He went to UFC. We respect what he did over there. But we wish him nothing but the best. That's kind of to me like, no thanks. So, again, everything as far as wrestling goes, you never know. You never know what's a work, what's not a work, what's kayfabe, what's not. So you never know in these things. But talking to some people about this whole CM Punk thing, look, if he pops up at the Royal Rumble, I'm gonna fucking lose my mind. Especially for the fact that today they announced that the Royal Rumble's in Tampa, which is about 4 hours from me. So I am going to attempt to go to the Royal Rumble. And Nicholas told me today that he got tickets for Revolution. So we will be popping up at these live shows very, very soon. These big live shows. So I'm hoping that Royal Rumble is not an arm and a leg, because those WrestleMania tickets were, dude, those WrestleMania tickets were ridiculous. Okay? Ridiculous. The fact that they sold out so fast was, I mean, I couldn't believe it. Some of those prices, like all those front seating prices, were in the thousands. Okay, thousands of dollars to sit up there. And the upper level, the lowest price that I saw was like $350. So I was like, dude, I'm not paying $350 to sit at the top of that arena, and then I have to fly to Philly. I'd have somewhere to stay or whatever, but dude, no, I was not spending all that money to go do that. So hopefully Royal Rumble is not, as bad. Hopefully I can get like the inside track. I signed up for notifications from them to see, when the tickets go on sale and yada yada yada. So hopefully I'll be able to get in on the ground floor and then get a hookup. Because if I could get tickets, then I'll go. I already asked for the time off, so you might be seeing some Wrestling is Trash signs. You'll definitely see the shirt because I will be wearing the shirt there and the hat. So I think it'll be cool. And we'll just have to see. So anyway, they did announce that. And I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? I was talking about WWE and I was talking about Phil. So if he was to show up at the Royal Rumble, bro, I would fucking lose it. And of course, as we've covered before, Survivor Series is in Chicago. Okay. Now I don't know if CM Punk's if he has a non-compete. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know if because he was technically fired, that doesn't count. I don't know how any of this works. So I would assume that he's not going to show up in Chicago for the Survivor Series, even though the pop there would be a legendary pop if he was to show up at Survivor Series. Like that would be, it would be monstrous, the ovation that he would get. So, and you got to wonder about that show if there's going to be CM Punk chance. I'm thinking that eventually, before that show hits, we're going to get news in some capacity about what his status is or what's going on. Because if there's even a chance that he's going to show up there, like if they say, oh, he doesn't have a non-compete, whatever, he can do anything at any point, those, when they start that pay-per-view, the CM Punk chants are going to be redonkulous, okay? So they should, if they were smart, somebody would say something about his, his availability. Because, again, if there's a chance, the Chicago will let them know. So, but again, I have a feeling that, I don't think he's done because he looked pretty comfortable in the ring. I've said it a few times that his matches haven't really like done too much for me this second time around. Like I thought he was in a good groove before he hurt his ankle and all that shit before. And he's been having matches regularly on Collision and on the pay-per-views, but I haven't felt like he was like totally back in his bag. And then I saw the All In match against Joe, and I was like, okay, this dude, I enjoyed this match. Like, I enjoyed it. I didn't have anything to pick apart or any of that. I actually enjoyed it very much. And I was like, okay, this is the first time that I've seen that when he's come back, that like he actually got it in. Like, he really had a good, straightforward match. So, it sucks that he kind of like hit his stride again, and then this shit happened. So, I would I don't know why I have this nagging suspicion that he's not done. Like he's not done. And he's not gonna go to GCW. He's not gonna go to fucking Impact. I don't think Impact can afford to have him there. I really don't think he would go to Japan because Japan has a working relationship with AEW, so I don't think, he would do that. Plus, I'm not sure if he's into doing all that traveling. To like, the other side of the world. But I would think since things are different now, it's not run the way it used to be. There's different people in charge, and you got this whole Endeavor thing. So maybe he would want to do another run in WWE, just the last final run. Maybe challenge Roman or Seth, or I don't know. I can see the possibilities, and like I get giddy thinking about him coming back. So I'd like to see it, but I know there's people out there who are sick of this guy. They don't want him back. There's people who just don't want to hear anything about CM Punk. Listen, the guy is interesting, okay, to say the least. He's a very interesting guy. He brings eyes to the product. He's a compelling dude. So I'd like to see him back. But again, that is just me. But again, Nick Khan seemed to have, with that statement, man, Nick Khan to me just seemed like he was not interested in working with him at all. Basically gave him the future endeavors on his day off. And speaking of future endeavors, let's talk about Matt Riddle. So Matt Riddle has had an interesting week and a half. Matt Riddle got himself into a situation, and I didn't even know about this until I saw the reports that he was pulled from Monday Night Raw. And I saw he was pulled from Monday Night Raw, and I'm like, okay, why? What the fuck's going on with this guy now? So apparently, on the plane trip back from India, Matt Riddle claims that he was sexually assaulted by a police officer. Okay. And he made this accusation via Instagram, which is, of course, the place where you would want to do things like that. And when this started getting out, he went and deleted it. He deleted the post. And when the police made a statement, what they said was, well, we got a call when the plane landed about a disruptive person on the flight. And when we got there, the disruptive person turned out to be Matt Riddle. And the police like recognized him. I guess, I don't know, they were wrestling fans or something. Or the UFC, they just instantly they knew who he was. And they were cool with him. They were like, yo, just come over here, let's whatever. And from their side of the story, they were saying that Matt Riddle was super apologetic about everything. He was like, nuts. This is probably, let me give you a little Matt Riddle impression real quick of how he was like apologetic after the plane ride. Nah, man, it's cool, bro. No worries, bro. Everything's cool, man. No need to worry about it, bro. It's all good, bro. Where's Randy? So they said that he was, he was sorry, he was apologetic, and he was calmed down. So they had no need to like detain him or cuff him or do any of that shit. So they were like, all right, cool. Nobody got hurt. Nothing happened. It's cool. It's Matt Riddle. They let him go. Then all of a sudden, he comes out with this report saying that he was sexually assaulted by one of the police officers. And then they're just confused because they're like, the fuck? Like, this is what happened. And there was nothing like that. He didn't make any reports to us. He didn't claim anything. So they're very confused about why he's putting this report out. Then he goes and deletes it. So this guy just can't seem to get out of his own way. Like, and it sucks because this is another story of another guy who is very talented and can do a lot more in this business, but just chooses to do the wrong things at the wrong time. And again, I wasn't there. I really don't know. I'm just going off of these verified reports. I really, really loved NXT Matt Riddle. When he got called up, I was very happy. But again, I was a little sad because you know how it goes when NXT people get called up, bro. There's always a change. You know, they always do something to these people. They can't just have them be themselves. They have to change shit, whether it's their music or their name or whatever. So, but he transitioned pretty well. At first, he was basically RVD light. They were just having him go around and say dude and bro. And then they actually let him get into his own, and he kind of got into his own. Obviously, RK Bro took over, was a big hit. Okay, so this is part of recording on my own that I hate. My throat is scratchy, so pardon me. How do people do this and just talk for like 2 straight hours and not take sips of things? I don't know how people do it because I can't. My throat literally starts to get itchy and starts to close. I get teared up and then I can't talk anymore. So Matt Riddle, I hope he gets his shit figured out. I really hope he does. Because the dude's talented and he seems like a nice dude, but he just seems to just have some kind of demons or something, that he just constantly gets himself into shit. And I don't know. Super talented, super talented, but my God, the dude is a headache. And when I say future endeavor, let me tell you something. When I was talking about earlier, there's going to be some pieces that are going to be added and removed as far as staffing with Endeavor and WWE, and that's also going to go for some of these wrestlers who are just taking up roster space. That's going to happen too. So, Riddle might want to be aware of that, because you can't go back to the UFC. So I hope you saved your money, because I don't think AEW is going to take you either, because they're all full up over there. And rumor is they might be adding a new person to their roster as early as today. So it was reported today that one Adam Copeland, aka the man known as Edge, is no longer listed on the internal roster for WWE. He's been taken off. So what does that mean? I don't know. Does that mean he's free to go where he wants? Does that mean he has a non-compete? Does that mean he is, working on a new contract and they took him off of there until they figure that out? Who knows? The only people who know that are Edge and, his agent. So there seems to be heavy speculation that he's going to end up in AEW. And let me tell you this. If I was Tony Khan, I know that I think currently right now there's 160 something people signed to AEW. I think it's like 163 that they currently have signed. And they don't use even half of them, at least on the main shows. I might be wrong about that. That's an exaggeration, but dude, it's 163 people. I know that he has a lot of people signed, and I know he's got a lot of talent and a lot of stuff. But if I was Tony Khan right now, especially since you just lost your biggest star in the company that you had to fire, I would throw all of the money at Edge right now to get him to sign a contract. All of the money. Throw it all at him. Pay that man what he wants. Sign him to the nice cushy deal and bring him in, because that's a dude that's never, okay, aside from the Matt Hardy and Lita stuff, which was like 15 to 20 years ago, okay, that's ancient history. This dude has never been a problem for anyone or anything. Like, I've never heard about this guy having like personnel problems besides, again, Matt Hardy and Lita thing. I've never had this dude causing problems. I've never heard anyone talk about this dude that they don't like him. I've never heard any problems with him backstage. So this is a perfect candidate for you to bring in to bolster your roster, because that's a gigantic name and that would make a huge splash. So, bro, if I was Tony, I would be on the phone. I would fly out to his crib. I'd be like, yo, I need you. I need you. I would definitely fly out there and like give him the spiel. Listen, we do this, we do that. This is how it is. You can work with whoever you want. We can do this. We'll set up these dates, whatever dates you need off. That's fine. Da 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 da. Here's a bag of money. Come work for me. So we'll see. We'll see. This could all again just be rumor and speculation. Maybe Edge is just trying to, work WWE to give him the contract that he wants. Maybe Endeavor, now that they're involved, they're going to be like, no. That's one of our biggest stars. We're not losing that guy. Sign him. So, you never know. But man, if I was Tony Khan, I would be all up in the phone trying to get Edge into my company. That's for damn sure. So, a little bit, speaking of AEW, a little bit of sad news that I saw in the Twitterverse, or X as it's called now. Recently, Santana and Ortiz have made their triumphant return to AEW programming, and I, along with a bunch of other people that I know and love, were super excited because we've been wanting to see Proud and Powerful back, and we've been wondering what's going on with Santana. He's posting all this cryptic stuff on Twitter and these cryptic videos, and you know, there's a contingent of us out there who absolutely think Proud and Powerful were robbed of an opportunity of being tag team champions when they had that show in New York, and they should have pulled the trigger on that because those dudes 100% deserve to be champions. Nothing against the Ass Boys, okay? I like them in Bullet Club Gold now, but dude, they got to run with the belts. It wasn't long, but they got to run with the belts. They got to run with the belts. And you telling me you didn't have time to put the belts on Proud and Powerful for a little bit, for a couple months? Like, come on, man. All these times that the Lucha Bros and the Young Bucks have been freaking tag team champions, you couldn't get Proud and Powerful in there. So when they came back, it was like, oh, dude, and they're coming back as heels. This is fucking fantastic. I love this. And then Santana put a video out, and in this video, he basically said, I don't have it verbatim, but what he basically said was, he is not back to be in a tag team. He is back because he wants to be a singles champion. He no longer feels the need to be held by a crutch or restrained or told what to do. He's going to do what he wants and when he wants. It was basically like I felt like it was half kayfabe, half real. Um, and he basically said that he doesn't need the crutch anymore, which he didn't say Ortiz, but that's what it came off as when you watch this thing. You're like, ugh, shit, that fucking sucks. That seems like there's some bitterness there. And that was basically, his thing. He said he wants to be a singles champion, he wants to be a AEW champion, and nothing's gonna stop him, and he's on his way, and I'm gonna do it. And this, good video, cool video, but it kind of left a bitter taste in your mouth because you're like, shit, man. Well, there goes Proud and Powerful. That's over with. And it was definitely over when Ortiz decided to respond to it and on Twitter X, which I have his tweet here, and he says, "What a way to find out years of having your back meant nothing. Good luck without your quote unquote crutch. Just remember that it helped you walk for the last 14 years. I hope your legs are good. Thank you for being honest for once, but you couldn't say it to my face. You know you still can, right?" And he posted a picture of Proud and Powerful together. And then Santana replied to this tweet with a tweet of his own. Do we still call tweets? Or do we call them X's now? What the fuck do you call a tweet now? Like, I'm Xing. I sent an X post. That shit sounds stupid. Like, so that's why I still call it Twitter and tweeting, because it's going to be Twitter for me forever. But Santana responded with a tweet of his own, and he wrote, "Wow. First thing you said to me in 14 months. No text, no call. Nah, but he said, no, I hope your recovery has gone well. But of course, you paint me to be the bad guy like you've always done. Guess you forgot about our last conversation about this. Either way, I'm happy. I hope and pray the same for you," with a prayer emoji sign. Now, that was the last of the exchange, and this was like last week already, so they just decided to stop the tweeting. So that right there for me, because when it happened, obviously us Proud and Powerful fans were like all in the comments and talking to them and trying to see if this is fucking real or fake or whatever. Is this leading to like a program between them where they're gonna like fight and whatever? And the fact that like they've both moved on Twitter, like they haven't said anything else, they haven't responded with anything else. The fact that they've done that is like, oh shit, this is not like at work. This is for real. Like they just don't like each other anymore and they don't want to be affiliated with each other anymore. And this is it. So it's sad. It's like the end of an era, man. I think I said that in this episode already. Maybe I should just call this episode the end of an era. It's sad, man, because I really fucking liked that tag team together. I really did. And you know, now you got like these guys, they're not even like friends with Eddie anymore. Like Eddie's doing his own thing. And where does this leave Ortiz? Like Ortiz came back with Santana. They were both heels. So now it seems like Mike is going to continue on his own. Well, it's not that it seems like, that's what he's saying. He's going to continue on his own. But where does that leave Ortiz? Like, is he going to partner back up with Eddie now? I don't think that's going to work because they just were like beating she just hit him with that fucking, the loaded sock. So that's a welcome back, Eddie. You can't go be friends with him now. So it's shitty. It sucks because I was hoping that it was just like it was a tease of a program that they were going to run together, which honestly, I wasn't a fan of that either. Like, I don't want to see them fighting each other. I have no interest in seeing that. I want to see them as a tag team. But, I guess, I don't know. Hopefully they both find their own way. And, maybe it's time. They've been together fucking, what was it, 14 years? What did he say? 14 plus years together. Sometimes that's enough, man. Sometimes that's, I mean, it seems like that would bring you closer, but sometimes, man, after such a long time, you just got to go your own way. So, I wish them both, you know, success. And I just really wish we would have gotten that tag team, run just to see them holding the belts up would have been dope, especially in New York, man. Like, I can't believe that they didn't pull that trigger on that, dude. That's just fucking sucks. And finally, my friends, I really don't have too much else for you guys. Last night's episode of NXT was kind of historic. We had a main event that featured Becky Lynch versus Tiffany Stratton for the NXT Women's title. Now, that is a title that Becky Lynch has never won. And that was the whole like lead up to that feud. The fact that Tiffany Stratton said, "You never won this title, you never will," and then threw the challenge out there. So they had a match last night. Okay. That was great. They had a fucking great match. And if you haven't heard, Becky Lynch is the new NXT Women's Champion. Now, I saw a lot of people on the timeline talking shit, saying that Tiffany Stratton got buried. That is another burial by Becky Lynch. First of all, you people use these words, and I don't even think you fucking understand what they mean. Like, you just love you wait until a situation happens and then you throw the word burial out there when it doesn't apply. And you really need to cut this shit out because that was a star making performance for Tiffany Stratton yesterday. Like, that woman showed out. She really turned a lot of heads, mine especially, because again, I haven't really been watching NXT like that. So I haven't seen a lot of her. I've seen like one or two matches from hers. And I think honestly, it was like in passing. It was in highlight. Because again, I have not been watching. And I watched that match last night and I was super fucking impressed with her. She is going to be a big deal in WWE. Like, I predicted Nikita Lyons was going to be. And now I know Nikita Lyons is hurt and she's rehabbing and all that. But I don't think that's going to pan out like I thought it was going to. Like, I think Tiffany Stratton is going to get that kind of push that I thought was going to be the Nikita Lyons push. And the match was great. I am going to rewatch it just because I enjoyed it that much. Anytime you get a women's wrestling match like that, that's just, you really have to stop and appreciate it. They actually went over their time, which you don't really see that anymore. They went like 9 minutes over an overrun. So that was really cool. That's like that thing of the past where you used to do that shit on Raw. Always used to do that shit on Raw. They always went over like 10 minutes or so. Pardon me. Oh, did you see that? I just made a mess all over my Top Rope Squishy shirt. That's not good. Hey, Top Rope Squishy merch. Go get it. Nice, comfortable shirt. So a lot of you people were out here talking about a burial, and it doesn't make any sense. Like that, if you think that's a burial, then you have no fucking idea what you're talking about. So the reason I bring this up is because NXT last night, and again, we don't talk numbers on this podcast, only when it's relevant to the conversation. But I just thought it was insane that they did 850,000 viewers. They got into 1 million during the Becky Lynch match. Okay. That's fucking insane for NXT. Okay. That is insane. That shows you the star power of Becky Lynch. I am very glad that she's back to the man thing. Yeah, we're not doing this big time Bex bullshit with the stupid outfits and the fucking. They still do the giant 3D big time Bex animation thing. But I'm so glad she's back to her man persona because, bro, that was lightning in a bottle. That whole the man thing before she got pregnant and all that, and before the pandemic, she was literally must see TV. That woman was must see TV. Okay. And she's back to it. So I'm very curious to see what they're going to do with this whole NXT champion thing. I'm assuming she's not going to have the belt long. So, and I think it's going to end up back on Tiffany Stratton, to be honest with you. But just a great, great main event. And a good episode of NXT. I actually really have to do my due diligence and watch that, and make sure to watch that a little more. Of course, more wrestling to watch. I can't. Right now, I'm like, I think 3 episodes behind on Ring of Honor. And I love Ring of Honor. And I'm 3 episodes behind. So that goes to show you. The only thing I am watching religiously is Dynamite. Because I didn't even watch Collision until Sunday this week because I was out Saturday night and I was at a party. I'm not gonna be watching Collision on my phone while I'm at some freaking party. So that's the only thing I'm watching religiously is Dynamite. Every Wednesday I'm here, boom, put on my show. So the fact that I want to add another wrestling show to my rotation is hilarious, but I think it's worth seeing, what they're going to do with these new angles. So, and finally, my friends, I just wanted to, since we're in the vein of talking about Twitter and these kind of reports and things like that, I wanted to, we do a thing on this show called Trash Tweet of the Week. That's a little hard to say. Say that 3 times fast. And this is not really a tweet. I mean, I saw it in a tweet, but it wasn't really a tweet. It was like a link to an article. So this is a site that I have blocked. It's called nodq.com. I have these people blocked on Twitter, so I don't see any of their shit. But someone retweeted their tweet because they were kind of flabbergasted by this article that they wrote on this website. So this website wrote an article. It was an opinion piece by someone named Christopher Connor. And he wrote an opinion piece called Time for AEW to Change Wholesale. 5 Steps. So this person has the recipe for Tony Khan to make a successful company. Mind you, Tony Khan's a fucking rich millionaire. He owns his own wrestling company. He owns a fucking football team with his dad. But he needs the help of this guy from nodq.com to better his company. So here's some of the highlights from this fucking article that I read. It really is something. So this guy's saying wholesale earth-shaking changes are required for Tony Khan to become the leader that he thinks he is. Tony Khan is now the worst owner in pro wrestling since Herb Abrams. The only difference between the two is Tony's father is a billionaire and funding this operation. Let's see what else we got here. Right now, AEW is in the middle of a full-blown crisis, and it's not looking like there's an end in sight. CM Punk has been fired and is probably ready to go nuclear on the company in multiple ways. Ratings are literally in the toilet and will get worse now with the emergence of college and NFL football. So, with that being said, Collision Rampage had the best rating it's had in fucking a year this past Friday. So, that's bullshit. And Collision had its best rating it's had in a while this past Saturday. So, I don't know what the fuck this guy's talking about. Mind you, Monday Night Raw had its worst rating that it's had in quite a fucking while on Monday due to football. Also, Warner Brothers Discovery is constantly tweeting and talking about how happy they are with the rating that AEW gets. So where these little dirt sheet fucking bullshit website guys get this information that it's the end is near and fucking viewership's in the toilet and people are not happy, I don't know. But this guy has the solutions, guys. This guy knows it all. This guy knows everything. He says the good news is that there's still time to right this ship and turn AEW into a profitable business. A profitable business. Mind you, they just sold out fucking, well, they didn't sell out, but they fucking 80,000 people in Wembley Stadium. And again, I know everyone's like, now that's become a meme. Like every time, someone tries to say something negative about AEW, it's like, oh, but Wembley. But it's fucking true. Biggest fucking wrestling show ever. Like, I don't know. So, step one for this guy is hire a real booking team and let them work. Now, I will say that I've been saying that for a long time. Tony Khan needs to hire writers, someone who's going to write like long-term stories, and he needs someone to help him with this booking. Like, he needs someone to put together matches based on the storylines and all that shit that's going on. He definitely needs that. So I won't say that I completely disagree with what this guy's saying with that, but these are some other people that he thinks would be in the perfect role, would be perfect for the role of Booker here. Jim Ross, Eric Bischoff, or Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette and Eric Bischoff. Eric Bischoff, who famously destroyed WCW and famously almost destroyed TNA, which is now known as Impact Wrestling, and Jim Ross, who can barely do announcing. You think he wants to be in control of fucking booking? No, he does not. So Jim Cornette, the person who famously has been fired from every single job he's been hired for. The only reason he's not fired from his own podcast is because it's his podcast. Okay? But he's been fired from everything else wrestling related. So there's got to be a reason for that. This guy also thinks that they should get a 3 to 4 man committee of non-wrestlers who understand the industry and also get to TV writing. Now, again, this is one of those things that I will say I don't hate that idea. So he's saying someone like Dutch Mantel, Al Snow, or Chris DeJoseph. Dutch Mantel and Al Snow are like wrestling people. So you're saying get people who are not in wrestling, but then you name people in wrestling. But other people, he says Scott D'Amore, who it's fucking Impact Wrestling, and Freddie Prinze. Now, Freddie Prinze, I like. I like the Freddie Prinze idea. I think he's got good ideas. I thought he was starting his own wrestling promotion or something like that. I thought I saw a video of something like that a year ago, but I haven't heard anything about it. And then the next step this guy wants to talk about is he wants to cull the roster. Oh, look, he says 165 wrestlers. Okay, so I said 163, so I was off by 2. That's not bad. So in this guy's opinion, these are the wrestlers that we need to get rid of. The Dark Order, Danhausen, Brian Cage, Action Andretti. Guys who are on TV every fucking week. These are the guys that he wants to get rid of. Danhausen is injured, so he hasn't been on TV in a while. Brian Cage is fucking awesome. You just re-signed Brian Cage, and now you want to get rid of Brian Cage. Action Andretti is one of like the new up-and-coming stars that you can get behind. The guy's very exciting, and you want to cut him. Great fucking job. Stop bringing in every WWE castoff and New Japan star that does not bring in a huge following. So, do you know how many fucking people WWE have released? Like, they haven't done a big release like in a while, but they've released a shitload of people. Tony's literally signed like maybe 5 people out of all these fucking dudes who have been men and women who have been released. Like, this whole WWE cast off thing is I hate it. I really hate seeing stupid shit like that. But he's literally only signing the people who are like, gonna make a big difference. So, and again, I'm not some like AEW apologist. I do have some problems with some things. It's obvious, but this article is fucking asinine. It really is. Step 4: get rid of the Elite and Perry. He wants to get rid of the Elite from all Elite Wrestling. Sure, buddy. Excellent. I'm not even gonna bother reading this. I mean, I read it already, but I'm not reading this shit on there. It's just fucking ridiculous. Fire the Elite from all Elite Wrestling. That's really gonna work. That's really gonna work. So again, this is website. I blocked them on Twitter because they just, I block a lot of people on Twitter. A lot of these dirt cheap places that just regurgitate the same shit that Wrestling Observer says. It's just like, I don't have an issue with Wrestling Observer, but it's just like, why am I following you for news when all you're doing is saying, as per Dave Meltzer, this happened? I was like, okay, well, I could just follow fucking Dave Meltzer and not follow all of you idiots. So that's why I have most of them blocked. And also because they're dumb and they say dumb shit like this. So again, no DQ, stay blocked, have a nice life, and hopefully I won't run into any more of these idiotic articles. Dude, the comments under this article are scorching hot. People are just not happy with this place. But again, if this person wanted a reaction, he certainly got it. If he wanted clicks, he certainly got it. So at the end of the day, who wins? They win with this bullshit, because all he did is get traction for his website, traction to this article and their Twitter account, and just engagements. So in the end, they end up winning. And that's one of the things I hate about the IWC. The people who knowingly use this negativity and this tribalism in order to get clicks. I know you're trying to blow up. I understand it. I refuse to be that guy. I won't do it. Because, we do this for fun. This is a fun thing for us. We're not, it would require way too much work to try to blow up. And it would require me to do things that I don't want to do to blow up. So I'm very much satisfied with doing this wrestling podcast once a week and talking to you wonderful people. So, but I get it. There are people out there who, I don't want to say have nothing else to do, but this is probably like something that they really want to build. And they're definitely using the negative aspects of the online wrestling community to build it. And I just won't do it, and I won't participate. So with that being said, guys, I think I've talked your ears off enough. This will bring us to the end. Hold on one second. This brings us to the end of this episode of Wrestling is Trash. I have 10 minutes before Dynamite starts, so perfect timing. I gave you guys a good 55 minutes of hot, sweaty wrestling action, and I thank you very much for joining us for episode 158. Next week, Nicholas will be back in full effect, and we will be here to talk all the wrestles. So for now, I thank you very much for joining us. You already know, this is Lou from the BX, host of the Everything Podcast, co-host of Wrestling is Trash, Trash Boy numero dos. And yeah, peace, love, and enjoy wrestling, guys. Thank you. Follow us on YouTube, please.